Hi guys, welcome back to the Double A Show. That's right, it's our fourth show. I'm your host, Alex Durkovich.
And I'm your host, Ajay Singh.
So yeah, let's get straight into the topic.
Straight into it, the Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather fight. This has been going on since November or December of last year. The first show was supposed to happen, or the first fight was supposed to happen February 20th, but it was rescheduled to June 6th, which is today. And this video will come out shortly after the fight. So
I think it's on Showtime or
Showtime and FAMU for pay-per-view.
Yep.
And I'll be the first one to say it. I think Logan Paul is going to win. I don't know. I think his size, speed, build, and weight. You know, I just think it's going to have a big effect. I understand that Floyd Mayweather is one of the greatest boxers of all time, and even of this generation. So
yeah, I mean Logan's like 190.
Logan weighed in
6'4".
Yeah, so he weighed in at 189.5. But usually what happens in these boxing and fighting matches, fighters come in like
beef up the night before, right?
Yeah, a couple pounds extra the day of. So I think he's going to come in around at 195, maybe even 200. Who knows?
Yeah. So essentially, I heard that this fight, there's not going to be a winner or a loser. And
Yes.
There's not going to be any judges.
So
what's that?
So that's common usually in exhibition matches, which is this one, which means the primary thing of an exhibition match is that it does not go on your record. So this is very important for Floyd Mayweather in particular because he is 50-0 and he does not need to risk it by fighting someone out of his weight class, which is kind of weird. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it's actually super weird because Logan Paul, when he did his first exhibition match against KSI, there were actual judges. They had a scoring card. They had everything, and now there's no scoring card. And probably the only way you can lose in this fight against Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather is that someone would have to get like severely hurt or injured or something along those lines.
And one thing that is quite funny is actually KSI had beat Logan Paul, and he had tweeted that if Logan Paul beats Floyd Mayweather, that means KSI is the greatest boxer on the planet.
Yeah, I know.
which is quite funny to think about. But we want to go straight into a couple face-offs with Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather.
FanMio, Mav Athletics, and Showtime pay-per-view.
Logan Paul is such a body.
Yeah,
Look at him. He's so
going back to okay, at the end of the day, I mean, look at Floyd and look at Logan. You understand? I understand. I 100% understand that there are differences because he is the greatest boxer of all time, and he has fast hands, and he is the guy who's favorited to win, right? But just look at Logan Paul. I mean, you can't.
Yeah, I don't know if Floyd is going to be able to reach him essentially with that wingspan because
Exactly.
Floyd has been playing against boxers who have been
in his weight class.
His weight class, around his own height.
Exactly.
So,
and it's been like that for a reason, right? Logan Paul, he's gonna come in 30, even 40 pounds heavier, and he's coming at 6'2", 6'3", maybe even 6'4", because no one actually even knows his real height. It's listed at 6'2", but his brother is like 6'1", and he's at least 2-3 inches taller than him, right? And Floyd Mayweather, he's 5'8", reaching 40, right? Hasn't fought. He's been retired. Yeah. So, at the end of the day, I just don't think that it's there.
So, what's your prediction? Logan Paul or Floyd?
This is going to be a very, very, very unpopular opinion, but I am going with my guy, Logan Paul. I just think that weight, height, power at the end of the day just comes as a major factor, and it's what's going to get in the W. And I think it's going to be by knockout. That's what I truly believe.
Yeah, I don't know if I can go that far, but I know I was discussing this with my dad just yesterday. He was saying Mayweather is super quick with his jabs. He's been watching him for the past few years now. He's 50-0. He is 50-0. He is the best boxer in modern history.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
but yeah,
there's Ali and Tyson, but yes, he is. probably the greatest boxer.
Yeah,
and no one can argue with that. But then again, that's in his weight class. And kind of looking at this weigh-in now.
Still 189 and a half. 189 and a half pounds, 189 and a half pounds for Logan the Maverick.
I mean, that is just a body right there.
Yeah,
he's big.
I'd be afraid to fight him.
Yeah, I mean, when you're coming at 189 and a half, right? You can't fight that. You know, he's probably going to be 190, 195, right? So he's just too big, right?
Yeah.
And Floyd Mayweather, as much as he can do, you can't get up there.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah, it's tonight, June 6th on Showtime and Famio pay-per-view. So
on to our next topic.
Yep. So yeah, our next topic is more of a serious topic. It's essentially attacks on our soil, not physically, but from the cyber aspect. There have been multiple attacks on the. One of them was the meat industry. There was a meat packing business that was under attack from a group in Russia, and it's essentially affected a lot of the infrastructure, way of life in America.
Yes, and I think that's just kind of where that's where battles are going to happen now, right? Many people are predicting that World War III, it's not going to happen on the battleground. It's not going to happen in the air. It's going to happen in the internet. It's going to happen online, right? Cyber attacks and things along that nature. That is what the new future is, and I think the United States just has to step up its game, make sure they have the best security on hand, because a lot of stuff is just based on the internet these days, right? You're getting papers and files out of the way. What do you think about that?
Honestly, I don't know why people are doing this, because we're still in the pandemic, and countries essentially need to unite to get together to get through this. And if they don't, countries are just going to fall apart.
Yeah, I mean, if anything has taught us, the global pandemic has brought us together, right? There'd be no, for these people trying to fight wars, you won't be able to fight wars if you're not even alive,
exactly,
right?
Exactly.
You can't do anything if you're not alive. And the pandemic has taught us one thing, that we need to unite together and help each other out. Like India, right? It has shortages on oxygen and vaccine materials and COVID-19 materials and of sorts of that matter. Like
the U.S. has been sending supplies.
Exactly, the U.S. has been sending supplies. The UN had come together and sent supplies. That's what we need to focus on. We can't be thinking about wars right now.
Yeah, I totally agree. So I think there was some sort of video or article that we wanted to show you guys about this crisis currently happening on the U.S.
The gas hack. Now we have a meat hack. The company is called JBS USA. It's not a well-known brand. You might not be familiar with this company, but they own a significant percentage of the beef production in the United States. And take a look at some of the details that they've put out now about this cyber attack. They're saying that the attack has hit servers.
It's not only America, it's also other countries like Australia.
Other countries, Australia, Russia.
Supporting North American and Australian IT systems. The good news here from the company is they say their backup servers were not affected as part of this, so that might help them get up and running a little bit more quickly. But they still say all of this may delay certain transactions with both customers and suppliers. So we'll wait for more detail from the company, including what type of cyber attack this was. We don't have a lot of information here. We don't even know, for example, if this was a ransomware attack and if they're negotiating with the hackers over the price of any ransom that they might have to pay. So we'll wait for more detail from the company on all of that as we wait to see whether this has significant impact on their business. But
so you see, once again, criminals and all of them going for ransom against these companies, like, we can't be focusing on these things when we're in a pandemic. So
essentially, U.S. leaders need to stand up to this. They need to put their feet on the ground and they need to say,
come together.
Come together.
It doesn't matter if you're Democratic or Republican, right? Come together. This should be an equal goal. This should be the same goal. This shouldn't be polarization on this.
Exactly.
But kind of going a different direction now. Sports. The NBA playoffs, I think Western Eastern Conference, they have now entered into the semi-conference finals, except for the Lakers, the Clippers and the Mavs. Yeah. They're going to have a Game 7. Kawhi went out for 45 points.
Yeah, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, so he's doing it because he knows that he is a 2-time champion, 2-time Finals MVP, and he needs to uphold his legacy.
What I think was super surprising was that the Lakers
first round exit.
It was the first time LeBron lost in the first round ever.
Yeah, and
eliminated, just gone.
And I think that was one of the most, I'd say, surprising things. And I think the Suns deserve the credit. Chris Paul. This is the Chris Paul effect, where whichever team he goes to, he takes to the playoffs, right, and he increases their winning percentage. And Monty Williams as head coach, they've done a great job this year. Devin Booker, he went out for 50 that day. At the end of the day, DeAndre Ayton too, Jay Crowder, Cameron Payne, he was playing really good point guard while Chris Paul was out because of his shoulder. But and there's a quick reaction we want to look at post game interview of LeBron James.
If we could just zoom out and put this year and kind of last year into context and what this journey was like and sort of how tonight was a culmination of how this season went, if you agree with that.
Pretty much, it's kind of hard to start thinking about, when we got started, the season started so fast.
Okay, so one thing I noticed that LeBron got some grills on. He's got some chains. He's got a little drip going there.
The bubble, obviously. And I think I was talking to Wes in the locker room just a few minutes ago, and I said the one thing that bothers me more than anything, we never really got an opportunity to see our full team at full strength, either because of injury or COVID or something going on with our ball club this year.
That's what I don't like. People just blaming everything on COVID. That's not the reason why everything, all the problems are happening.
You guys won a championship last year in the bubble, so
you guys have you guys have the best players on your team, Anthony Davis,
LeBron
James,
and they were rated the #1 defensive team, right? All their guys are big. They got Andre Drummond now, and AD, and I just don't like when people say, AD is top 5 player when he's healthy. Well, when has he been healthy this year?
Exactly.
Last year, he deserved the credit. He went off. I honestly think he should have been Finals MVP. But he went off. He deserved it. And people were saying that he was going to be MVP of this season. But once again, people need to stop saying, when he's healthy, he's top 5 player. It doesn't matter. He didn't help his team. Do you understand? He's very injury prone, similar to Blake Griffin. But who do you have winning the chip this year?
Great question. Honestly, I see the Nets going. They have Kevin Durant. They have Kyrie Irving.
And James Harden.
Just that team coming together. I don't know. They call it was it the Magic team or something like that?
The Big Three.
The Big Three.
And yesterday they just beat the Bucks, 115-107. And I think James Harden, he was out after the first couple seconds because he pulled a hamstring. But I honestly I think either the Bucks or the Suns winning it. I don't know why, but I just because the Nets have only played 8 full games together so far. Out of this whole season, they've only played 8 full games together, which is quite shocking and surprising. But I truly believe the Suns or Bucks, they got it this year.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching, guys.
Thank you. See you later.